This is a day that has been 30 years in the making. The 610 Interchange project was literally on the drawing boards for 30 years, for the last 30 years. And when Governor Raimondo took office, she directed DOT to find a way to take it off the drawing boards and get it built. And we did. When this same group, many of you here today, were here 2 years ago, it was to express a shared vision and concern. The 610 Interchange is the iconic symbol of what we absolutely had to do in Rhode Island, which was to completely rebuild our decaying infrastructure, our transportation infrastructure. And the gathering then was an expression of all of your commitment to start that process. Today, we're fulfilling that commitment and starting work on the 610 Interchange. I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of our guests here today who have been so supportive of Roadworks initiative in the 610 project. Senator Frank Ciccone, Senator Anna Quezada, Representative Ramon Perez, Councilman Terrence Hassett, Councilman Michael Correa, and Johnston Mayor Joseph Polisena. 2 weeks ago, after an extensive request for proposal and RFP process, we awarded the 610 contract to a joint venture team called 610 Constructors, the single largest contract dollar amount that DOT has ever awarded. The teams that competed for this contract both presented unique solutions to the problem of how to best rebuild 610. The winning team was resourceful, innovative in their approach, not only to the construction, but also to rerouting traffic in a way that will minimize the impact on neighboring communities. Last year, the governor asked that some of you here today, representing those communities, partner with the Rhode Island DOT team to work out the concept for rebuilding 610. She helped us move forward. She listened to the residents and the commuters and insisted on getting the best product that we could get here. And now we're confident that we have that product. This project and many others like it over the next 10 years would certainly not have happened without a champion. Someone who had the foresight and leadership to craft new landmark legislation, funding, and a delivery system that will improve our state's infrastructure for decades to come. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce that champion, our Governor, Gina Raimondo.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. Good morning. I like the sound of that. And Happy New Year to those of you who I haven't had a chance yet. Happy New Year. It's going to be a good year for Rhode Island, and I couldn't think of a better way to kick off the new year than to be under this overpass. Many of us in this room have been under this overpass many times for many events, but this is by far the best one because this is the day we get to work rebuilding this overpass, which has been structurally deficient for decades. We wouldn't be here without the help and support and leadership of so many people. In fact, every person in this room, though I know it's cold, so I won't name every one of you. But first and foremost is Director Alviti, who is totally turning around DOT from top to bottom, new project management system, new roadworks program, new team. We wouldn't be here without you, Peter, and I'm so grateful to you for your work. But I would say One person even that I'm even more grateful to is Kathy, his wife, who's also here, because Peter works a lot. This doesn't just happen, and she's got his back. So it takes a family, and I want to thank your whole family. I also, of course, have to thank our federal delegation led by Senators Reid and Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, Congressman Langevin. You know, none of this happens without federal money. Federal money is harder and harder to come by, if you haven't realized, and these guys fight every single day in Washington. So, Senator Reid and your colleagues, thank you on behalf of Rhode Island. And to my partners in the Assembly, most especially the Senate President, who is with us here this morning, Speaker who couldn't join us, thank you. Thank you, Donnie, for your leadership. There's never a doubt when you ask the Senate President where he stands on building projects. He's for them. Building, demolition, rebuilding, more, Governor, more. He says to me whenever I see him in the hallways, keep your foot on the gas, Governor. We need an economic comeback. So, Donnie, for the first time in a long time, we can say this is going to be rebuilt. And you and your leadership and your senators who stood strong on a tough vote, thank you for making it happen. To the mayor and the council president and other members of the council who are here, thank you. The mayor's team and my team worked very collaboratively to make sure that we had a design here that was not only safe and allowed us to repair this interchange, but also was good for the community. And your team was terrific in putting the needs of the community front and center, and the team at DOT in my office, we work together, Council President, so this is something we can all feel good about. And I want to thank you for your leadership. You know, the bottom line is that Rhode Islanders deserve safe roads. Rhode Islanders deserve good roads, good bridges, safe roads and bridges. And this one, like so many in Rhode Island, hasn't been safe for decades. About 100,000 vehicles pass over this exchange every day. And they deserve to have the peace of mind that they're going to get to the other side safely. And for a long time, they didn't have it. When I took office a few years ago, we had about 200 structurally deficient bridges in Rhode Island, similar to these. And we needed a generational, a once-in-a-generation investment in our infrastructure. And again, thanks to the Assembly, we have that in roadworks. And I'm very proud of the work DOT has done. They've started or completed repairs on more than 120 bridges already in the past couple of years due to that program. By the way, you know what the best part of repairing 120 bridges is? Thousands of people are working. Thousands of people are working who hadn't worked in a long time rebuilding our roads and bridges. And these are good jobs, good middle-class jobs, mostly union jobs where you can take care of your family. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so deeply grateful to all of you who stuck with me in the fight to make this happen. And today begins a long project, but it's a loud symbol to the people of Rhode Island that we're going to have first-class infrastructure, first-class jobs, good companies, and safe, secure roads for now and for our future. So thank you and congratulations.
Governor, thank you so much. Thanks mostly for the courage to withstand a lot of different pressures that come upon you to actually make this happen and to create a funding program that's going to replicate this throughout the rest of the deficient bridges that we have in the state for the next decade. So we're equally fortunate to have the support of our congressional delegation during this process. Both our U.S. senators and congresspeople have been staunch supporters of the governor's roadworks initiative and have recognized the tremendous economic development value of rebuilding our infrastructure. Most importantly, though, through their efforts, they've secured 80% of the funding for this project. We're especially fortunate to have our senior senator serve as the top Democrat on the Appropriations Subcommittee on Transportation and Housing and Urban Development. He's with us today, and it's certainly an honor always for me to introduce my former classmate, Senator Jack Reed.
Thank you very much, Peter, for your leadership and for the way I can disrupt any meeting. I hope that's not permanent damage. I've known Peter for 55 years, so no surprise to him that I knocked something over, and it's no surprise to me that he would get something going. So thanks, Peter, for that. Governor, thank you for your leadership, as Peter recognized, and I want to thank not only the leadership of the governor, but the leadership and cooperation of the governor and the mayor, who put this together for the benefit of this whole community. And in addition, this is the work of the leadership in the State House. So Senator Don Ruggiero, who Don I've known for 55 years too, thank you for that. And also Speaker Mattiello, thank you for what you've done. And we also were joined by Senator Frank Chacon, Senator Ana Quesada, Senator Jabor, Senator Ramon Perez. We also have the new president of the Providence City Council, David Salvatore. So thank you all for your leadership to make this possible. And let me also salute the other part of this effort, and that is the men and women who do the job, the labor workers and their leadership. Matt Taibbi, Paul McDonald, Mike Sabatoni, and Greg Mancini. Thank you all. This is a collaborative effort. Finally, a great deal of gratitude, appreciation to my colleagues in the federal delegation. Sheldon Whitehouse. Sheldon, as a member of the Environmental Public Works Committee, has been spearheading the authorization. We can't spend any of this money unless we're told by the authorizers to do it. Sheldon has been a key authorizer on this project and so many others. Of course, David Cicilline and Jim Langevin are in there all the time, making sure that the House of Representatives is funding these transportation projects. And as Peter pointed out, 80% of this $400 million will come from the federal government. And that's good news for Rhode Island. And the money will be well spent. We're replacing something that is broken, and it needs to be fixed. In fact, I was joking with Peter saying, you've taken away the best outdoor locale we've had to dramatize the decrepit. Wait, Jack, I got plenty more I can show you. So thank you, Peter, for that. We're creating jobs, as the governor said. These are good jobs and necessary jobs. We're improving our efficiency, our economic productivity. We're making Rhode Island a destination for companies to come and grow, and that's critical. And we're also going to improve the quality of life, the ability to get around, the ability to visit, the ability to go to the store. All of that is critical to Rhode Island and to America and to our future. And you know, we have tremendous bridge problems and transit problems, but that's not the only issue we have. We've got to have infrastructure programs that embrace sewer systems and school systems. In Rhode Island, we have a $2 billion need for repair of our water and sewer systems. We have to fix that. We have a $2.2 billion deficit in school repairs and construction. We have to fix that. And that's going to take a national agenda. It's going to take something more than talk about big, huge things. It's going to take real programs and real resources to get it done. I know Sheldon, David, Jim, and I are going to go down to Washington and fight for those programs and for those resources to get it done. So we are here to celebrate, to get this work started, and to commit ourselves to do much more, because much more has to be done. And I'm delighted to be here, and thank you all very, very much.
It's all right. So I'll fix it. So.
You need an electrician?
We're equally as fortunate to also have Senator Sheldon Whitehouse with us today. As a member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, Senator Whitehouse helped create the Infra Grant Program, a program which we are looking forward to participating in, which provides additional funding opportunity for federal infrastructure projects like this one. Senator Whitehouse also helped author legislation that boosted the highway and transit funding for Rhode Island over the next 5 years and bringing the state more than $1.3 billion in federal funding. $1.3 billion in federal funding. Without that funding, roadworks would look very different than it does. And we're grateful for all that he has done. Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Peter, to you and your team. Thank you to Governor Raimondo for her relentless leadership in this area. Thank you to President Ruggiero for your equally relentless leadership in this area. I want to join Jack in recognizing Senators Chacon and Quesada and Jabbour who are here, Representative Perez who is here, and I want to thank Mayor Alorza and Council President Salvatore for being here, but also for the work that they did to make the design of this project come together. This was not an easy thing, as those of us who are close to it know. When this concrete spaghetti in the sky was designed and built, Beatlemania was a thing. Televisions had rabbit ears. There have been real changes since then, and those changes needed to be accommodated in a new design. And that has been a long and a thoughtful process, and one that now everybody is happy with. So I really appreciate the work that the city and the state government did together to make that come to pass. As far as the building of it goes, we are delighted to see federal funds pour into this project. I hope with more to come. We have the promise, at least, from the president of an infrastructure bill. We're still looking for it. I haven't seen hide nor hair of it. We're preparing to draft another one of our own if he doesn't produce one shortly in the Democratic caucus of the Environment and Public Works Committee. So the time to push is forward. We very much hope that the state is successful with its infra grant, which will allow this project to expand further and put even more people to work. So let me conclude, first of all, by thanking our labor team, which has been very helpful here, but also pushing in Washington to make sure that there is support for this funding. Matt Taibbi, Paul McDonald, Mike Sabatoni, and Greg Mancini, among many others. Much, much appreciated. And thank you to the rest of our terrific delegation, led by Jack, who appropriates funds for all sorts of great projects in Rhode Island, and with David Cicilline here also, who knows full well the measure of the importance of this project from his time as mayor of Providence as well. So this is a happy day for infrastructure, this is a happy day for jobs, and this is a happy day to bring this infrastructure into the 21st century. Congratulations all, and thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Likewise, in the House, our Congress people do an absolutely marvelous job at getting the funding and the support that we need. And one of Governor Raimondo's strongest supporters in the roadworks legislation here in the state and in securing additional funding from Congress has been Councilman Cicilline. He was a former mayor here in Providence, so he knows the real need for this to be rebuilt in the way that it has. And I welcome Congressman Cicilline.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here. First of all, to say thank you to the governor for her extraordinary leadership in making rebuilding our state a central part of our economic recovery and understanding the value of not only putting people to work in good paying jobs, but what it means to the quality of life of the residents of our state and what it means to the growth of our state's economy. There's no better investment that we can make than rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. The governor has been a relentless leader on that, a courageous legislator. I want to thank her for that. I want to thank the members of the General Assembly, Senate President Ruggiero, Senator Casada, Senator Jabor, Speaker Mattiello, Representative Perez, other members of the General Assembly here who have been strong proponents for investing in rebuilding our infrastructure. I'm thrilled to be part of a federal delegation led by Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse and Congressman Langevin, who understand, and I knew this from my time as mayor, that was a delegation that really understood the importance of the federal partnership in making these infrastructure projects happen. Senator Reid, obviously using his important position on the Appropriations Committee to make sure we get these programs funded. Senator Whitehouse, who I think has had more press conferences at this exchange to make the point of the urgency of this investment, and drafted legislation specifically designed to fund this kind of a project. And Congressman Langevin and I are fighting as hard as we can in the House to preserve funding. As the governor said, this is becoming more and more difficult. We're about to embark on a national conversation about what is the federal government's role in rebuilding the infrastructure of our country. We in the House have a very bold infrastructure bill that will make a very significant increase in the federal investment, and we'll become better partners. And I think we're going to have a big struggle with the administration about what their vision is in terms of a partnership from the federal government. But this project is a perfect example of local, state, and federal government working together. I want to particularly compliment the mayor and the governor for engaging the community to develop a really good project and real broad consensus that didn't exist at the very beginning of this project. And that came about as a result of great leadership and deep engagement with the community. But this is a really good example of what happens when we work together. We engage the community, we make the kinds of investments that will lead to not only better quality of life, but the creation of really good paying jobs. I want to particularly acknowledge our labor leaders that are here, Michael Salvatore, Greg Mancini, Matt Tavey, Paul McDonald. I know there are others who represent unions that create really good paying jobs, good wages, good benefits, the kinds of jobs that support families. That's the kind of jobs that will be available at this project. So I'll end with Director Alviti. Thank you for your leadership, because with resources and vision, it still needs to be executed, and thank you to DOT for the great work you're doing. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Congressman. None of our major projects would move forward without the vision and leadership of our state officials. The impetus to rebuild Rhode Island's infrastructure came straight from our legislature. It was their courage and foresight that made roadworks a law. With that law, we're systematically bringing all of Rhode Island's roads and bridges into a state of good repair. Our next guest was on the front line of that legislation and remains a strong supporter of improving our state's transportation infrastructure. I'm so happy to introduce our Rhode Island Senate President, Dominic Ruggiero.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director, and I want to commend the Governor and the Director for the fabulous job they've done on this particular project over a short period of time. As was mentioned earlier, this is a project that's been in the planning stage for the past 30 years, and finally it's coming to fruition. It's probably one of the most used thoroughfares through the state of Rhode Island, and I don't think you have to look too hard to see some of the deficiencies that this particular structure has. Obviously, we're in the process through roadworks of repairing our roads in the state of Rhode Island. And we have the most efficient bridges in the country, but I am confident that with the leadership on the federal level, on the state level, and on the local level, we can improve our infrastructure dramatically. When companies come here to locate here, that's one of the top 5 issues that they look at, the condition of our infrastructure. And our infrastructure is pretty bad, and I think Senator Reid mentioned earlier that our water structure is bad. Our sewer system is bad. I mean, things don't get better over time, unless you provide the appropriate maintenance. So this is what we're looking to do on this level. I certainly want to thank the governor for the initiative that she and her agencies have taken on this particular project. I want to thank our congressional delegation for everything that they've done as far as securing the finances to make this project go forward. And I certainly want to thank the City of Providence and the Mayor's Office for the cooperation they've shown. I know earlier the previous speakers have recognized the presence of some of my Senate colleagues here, Senator Jabor, Senator Chacon, and Senator Casada. They've been on this project from day one, and they've provided valuable input into the hearing process. So I want to thank them not only for what they did on this particular project, but what they do each and every day for the people that they represent. So I want to thank everyone very much. This was definitely a team effort, and I'm hoping that this can continue with other projects throughout the state that are very much in need of repair. So thank you very much, and have a happy new year. And I think this is, as the governor said earlier, this is a great start to the new year. Thank you very much.
As we developed the concept for the replacement of the 610 interchange, we worked closely with the City of Providence. Interchanges like this live in communities with the people that surround it. There were many concerns about how best to structure this massive project, and we met weekly with representatives from the Mayor's office and from the communities that will be affected by this project. It took months to come to a consensus to create a plan that not only met the regional transportation requirements, but also was sensitive to the needs of the adjoining neighborhoods and the people who live here. And we did it. We're grateful to the leadership that the governor brought to bring the city together with us, and we're grateful for the leadership of Mayor Alorza that he brought to this effort. And it's my pleasure to welcome him here today.
Good morning, everyone. A little chilly in here. I'm still looking for the heated tent. If anyone sees it, you let me know. So good morning, everyone. This really is an amazing and great way to begin the new year, 2018. And I want to begin by recognizing the person who's most responsible for bringing us together this moment. Governor, once again, you're tackling the toughest issues, confronting them head on. There are no easy solutions, but somehow you continue to find a way. So congratulations and thank you once again, Governor Raimondo. And Governor, you're the first to say it. It's not you, it's the entire team. And we have an awesome, awesome team that we can count on in Washington under the leadership of Senator Reid, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, Congressman Langevin. Thank you always for representing us so well down in Washington. We also have a great team representing us here. Thank you, President Ruggiero, for always standing up and supporting these important issues. Speaker Mattiello, and we have some other members of the Senate and House, Senator Quesada, Senator Chacon, Representative Perez. And I want to recognize some of my colleagues at the city level, new Council President David Salvatore. Look forward to continue working with you. Oh, no, we also have Senator Jabor. I don't mean to leave you out, Senator. So this project is so important to the city of Providence for so many different reasons. So right along and buttressing the entire stretch of the 610 connector, follow me for a second, beginning behind the mall at the promenade, with the promenade apartments at the Foundry. The city with the state is investing $5 million to improvements right along that stretch to make it more bike friendly, more walker friendly, and more and better for traffic. Follow on down along Valley Street, you get to Alco, you get to the new water fire building, you get to the proposed and coming Farm Fresh building, you get to the steel yard. There are also 300 new units at Eagle Square. There's also a new urban hydroponic farm coming at the former GE site. Then you get to Rising Sun Mills, you get to the plant, you get to the United Way, and all the way in the back to the 610 actual connector. We're seeing massive investments in the area of Olneyville that in all truth is perhaps the hottest and most exciting neighborhood in the city right now, Olneyville. That's really, really exciting. And this lines the entire stretch of this road, so 610 connector project could not be more important to the city of Providence. It's also tremendously important to the city of Providence because, as the president just mentioned, every company that comes into to Providence and is thinking of investing, they ask us, what are you doing to invest in your own future? What are you doing to maintain and build your infrastructure? And being able to point to this project, along with $45 million that the city will be investing in infrastructure this year, along with $400 million that we plan to invest in school infrastructure, along with investments by the state, we can tell them that it's not just about cutting here and shaving there. It's also about investing in the future of our city. And last, it's important to the city of Providence for what it does to our neighborhoods and to our residents. This project is going to reconnect neighborhoods that were formerly cut off from one another. In fact, if you still look at maps, there are parts of Magnolia Street that are on one side of the highway and Magnolia Street on the other side of the highway that don't actually connect. And this project is building in new connections to our neighborhoods so we can rebuild the fabric of our city. And what better way to rebuild the fabric of our city than by creating jobs and giving people a chance to provide for their family with work and with dignity. And that's exactly what this is doing, creating thousands of jobs for years to come. So congratulations to everyone who played a role in making this day possible. It's a great start to 2018, and I look forward to all that this and other projects have to offer in our future. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. And I'm sorry, I also want to thank Director Alviti. It truly was a collaborative process, and I truly appreciate that the design-build project, the consultants that you brought in, are the ones that paid particular attention to the impact that this would have on our neighborhoods. We appreciate the partnership, Director.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, you know, as a young civil engineer, some 40, 50 years ago, I don't even remember how long ago anymore, but if my children asked me, Dad, how do you build a bridge? My explanation would begin by saying, well, you build a good, strong foundation, and then you build the piers on which the structure is going to, and then you put the beams in place, et cetera, et cetera. If my grandchildren today asked me, Grandpa, how do you build a bridge? I would respond by saying, well, you start by meeting with the governor, and then you meet with the legislative leaders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that teamwork really lays the financial and planning foundation that make these projects actually happen. The Providence City Council has also brought us some excellent ideas and considerations regarding the 610 interchange. We'll continue to partner with them through the entire length of this process. And here today to join us is City Council President David Salvatore.
Thank you, Director Alviti, Governor Raimondo, Mayor Elorza, and distinguished guests. Thank you all for being here today. This is truly a remarkable moment in our city's history, and I'm honored to be here to share with all of you the new 610 interchange that's going to take place in the near future. The 610 interchange has been a challenge that I've been hearing about since I was a kid. This has been a 30-year project in the making, and it's time for this new interchange to come to fruition. The $400 million project has been in the works now for, like I said, nearly 30 years, and it's going to employ hundreds of Rhode Islanders. And it's been stated earlier that these are going to be good-paying Rhode Island jobs, and I'm proud of the fact that we're going to have so many union folks who are going to work on this project in the very near future. The construction coupled with the new design is very important, but I'm happy to see that the designers had more than design and construction in mind. They also had sustainability. And the fact that we're going to create new modes of transportation for Providence residents is going to be critical moving forward as we redevelop our neighborhoods. Again, knowing that the designers were thinking of this, it's going to also mitigate some of the current traffic patterns that are taking place. So I'm looking forward to seeing this project come to fruition, working with my colleagues on the City Council at the state level and also the federal delegation. Congratulations, RIDOT. Congratulations, Governor and Mayor. Thank you again.
So last but not least, the governor, in addition to making the funding and the planning methodology for rebuilding the state's infrastructure, also mandated in the roadworks legislation that Rhode Island DOT change itself and rebuild itself into an organization that is capable of delivering projects like this efficiently, into one that's founded on the basis of project management. We reconstructed DOT during the last 2 years, and we're getting amazing results already from that new methodology of management. Bridges are now completed ahead of schedule, roads are repaved under budget and ahead of schedule. And this project is no exception. Our project managers on this project have already created the schedules of procurement, the budgets, the design criteria, and they now own the responsibility to complete this. Today I'd like to acknowledge and thank several people that are going to be, that have worked on this and that are going to be working on this. First, the person responsible for putting this procurement together in a very efficient manner, Richard Bernardo. Our project management team, the people who are going to be responsible for building this on time and on budget, Jay Silva, please stand when I call your name. Deidre Paiva, Jay McGinn, Dave Fish, Lori Fazette, and their leader. And now the addition of Howard Goldberg from Barletta, who's leading their construction team. They'll become our partners during the next several years in getting this project built on time and on budget. Our team is ready to get to work on the single most important project we've ever done. We look forward to the day when all of us are here again, together to celebrate the opening of a massive interchange that's safe, elegantly designed, congestion-free, and our deepest thanks to everyone here and who wasn't able to attend, who have supported this project and the roadworks legislation. Let's get to work. All right.